Super Talk 1270.
Get ready for Unriveted Radio on Super Talk 1270. Now, here's Travis Feist and Rob McLeod.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Unriveted, a Dakota Customs original podcast. I'm your host, Travis Feist, and with me, and always, Rob McLeod.
How we doing, everybody? What's up?
Yeah, I think winter's coming. It's actually been, yesterday was a really nice day out.
You know what? I think we're better off just not even talking about it. Everything is fine right now.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, it's
just leave it alone.
Just the weather.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You're probably itching though, because snowmobiling's like probably here or close to.
Actually, not really. Funny you say that. Right before this, I was at the bank. So I got a new sled coming in, and you know, interest rates, and so you know what? It's whenever it happens. You know, stuff's expensive.
But don't you usually talk to the bank before you buy the sled, you order the sled then talk to the bank?
You know, order first, ask questions later.
That's true. Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. It should be awesome. So, but I think kind of missed it last year. Last year was a really good snow year out west, and slow start this year. So, I remember last year at this point, people have already had 2 or 3 trips under their belt, and I don't dare take a new sled. Probably not for another month.
So is yours going to be in, or what? Like, what are they telling you?
They said it was on the last shipment that the dealership is receiving, so it's going to be in that shipment. So these new sleds, you can either get them with like a 10-inch gauge or like just a standard gauge. It's like, well, I'm not on my sled to be looking at a 10-inch screen. And
what's standard? Like, what's there?
Just like it just has your TAC readout, your altimeter. I guess if you want to look at your speedometer, but it's just a standard function display. They were in the high end. They just call it the big display. It's got GPS. It's got like all like your where you've been, but it only works under cell service. Like you don't get no cell service out there, so it's like this dumb.
Yeah.
It's like extra $2,000. I was like, no, this is I'd be wasting money. You know, it's like taxes.
True. Yeah, very true. Yeah,
that's a little aggressive.
I can't remember anywhere really that
no
you get cell service. And I know when we go to Yellowstone, like when I used to go, like Yellowstone, if you get way up on top, I think it was at Island
towers.
Park and so. Yeah, you can get cell service. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, you're very limited, especially if you like cook or I don't think there's any service even anywhere in Cook. I think
like nowhere near. I think there's
Bighorns.
There's Gardiner, and that's right when you get into the park, you get service there. That's because it's like a community. There's also a hub for like medical response.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they got to have cell phone reception there. But so I ordered my sled without that fancy gauge, and of course all the somebodies ordered their gauges ordered their sleds with the big gauges. So those came in first.
Oh, sure.
Me as the peasant, get my stuff last.
Yeah, well, that'll teach you. Go big or go home. See, you could have probably had it. You could have been tooling around on your truck with it on your sled deck.
I have a home to go to. You
know? That's true. Yeah. Well, hopefully it comes in soon.
I'm excited. Yeah, it's cool. So they got a couple in. I went and looked at them in person. It should be pretty trick sled, and I'm excited.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I know it's been actually a couple weeks since we've actually did an actual live podcast. We've
more than that, huh?
I think so.
3?
Calvin was our last one. That was 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah. Dude, we've been busy. We've been doing a lot of stuff. We've
been across the country.
Been across the country.
You've been across the country like three times.
Yeah. Back. I've.
Oh, it's fun.
It was September, October. No, wait. September, October, and no, it was August, September, October.
Each month.
Yeah,
each month.
I put on over almost in the same exact spot 3 times.
Yeah.
Pretty close. At least like in the geographical area, it's the same spot. So I think I've done my fair share of driving, but I'm telling you.
Funny. It's so funny because you're just like, I think we're like, before you took all those trips, you're just like, I hate driving. I'd rather just sleep. I don't want to be in a vehicle going down the road. I'm an airplane person.
Well, I am, and the thing is, like, with me is...
I think we were talking about one of our morning meetings. Like,
yeah, probably.
Truckers and stuff.
Yeah, in which sometimes we get off track on our morning meetings, but I'm all right with that. It's, we can visit.
Can't be all business.
Yeah, true. And I think I was talking because I feel like the little bit of free time I do have, that I cherish my free time, and I don't want to spend it sitting behind a steering wheel. Like, I want to be doing something. So if I'm going to go somewhere for 3 or 4 days, I don't want to spend a day and a half driving there, because it's such a waste of my time. And so that's why I'm a guy that if I'm going to go somewhere, if I can, I'll fly, just because I want to get there and enjoy me. Yeah. And sometimes the drive is the enjoyment. You know,
it's like when you said the steering wheel, like, I was going to say, what if that steering wheel has paddle shifters?
Well, see, that's what I mean. It's completely different there, and so I went down in September, took the bike down, which, again, that's a whole kind of different. It's not really a steering wheel, but you're still driving, but it's a different experience, and it was still awesome, even though it was wet, cold.
Open air.
Yeah.
Totally different.
I think I'm going to have to plan that different. I need to start going down a little bit earlier and start getting fair weather riding, because technically I've been proven wrong that since I started doing this with Jason, that, your mentality is if you're heading south, technically it should get nicer as you head south. I mean, it only makes sense. If you even think about it, it's still, if you are leaving here and going straight south, to the equator, it should get nicer. Mm-hmm. Every day, every mile that you go south, it should get nicer. And I've been proved wrong almost 3 times. To where it usually doesn't get nice until like Arizona or like right before the border, and it's usually crap all the way before that. So I think we need to maybe plan a couple weeks earlier just to get out of that funk. But you know what? At the end of the day, it still makes a good memory and it makes a good story. But it would just be nice to have better weather going down. And so I did that in September, the end of September. Then at the very beginning of October, like, what was it, 2 weeks later, I think it was? Maybe 3 at the most. I went down, I think it was like 2 weeks. I ended up going down to Kansas City with my cousin.
Yeah, you went further than Kansas City.
Or I went to Oklahoma. I went down to Oklahoma.
Like Dallas,
I think we were 75 miles north of Dallas. Yeah, so pretty much almost all the way to Texas to pick up the Merc.
That drive sucks.
And it did. And him and I, and thank God my cousin was in town from Seattle. They came to visit, and unfortunately there was some family stuff that happened there. And so he was actually here. It was just a family deal, and he was hanging out. And it's like, hey, cuz, like, I need to go get this car. Let's road trip. And I've never road tripped with my cousin, and he's the same age as me. I
think he needed to get out of Dodge.
I think he did too. Yeah, to get him away from what he was dealing with. When he told me no right away, it kind of bummed me out, because I thought, God, it'd be kind of cool to road trip with him. I've never done that. And at the last minute, the night before, I was going to just take Chopper, and we were just going to do it. And the last minute, he's like, yeah, my wife said I should, like, she pretty much told me to go. And I thought, well, good for her. Like, that's awesome. But it's crazy, because the trip, it went very fast. We were there and back in less than 2 days. 2 days, I think, because we left Thursday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we were back Friday night at almost 4. It was like 3 o'clock in Saturday morning. We got back. So it was almost exactly 48 hours to drive all the way there and back. But it was funny, because knowing my cousin Anthony, I didn't know if he was much of a morning person or not. Well, I get up kind of early every morning. Mm-hmm. So I told him, I'm like, dude, I'm leaving at 4 o'clock no matter what. I don't care. Like, we have to be on the road by 4 o'clock. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And I thought, yeah, can you though? Like, I don't know if he's a sleep in kind of guy.
Is he?
Yeah, even though he works hard and he's union, but if he's not getting up, he's sleeping in, And Yeah, he showed up at my doorstep like a wet, beat-up dog at 4 o'clock in the morning. You look rough.
Definitely not a morning person.
Yeah, but he was ready to go, and it was funny because, knowing that we're going to be driving, I actually, I packed snacks and a cooler, and so I had, chips and peanuts and 350 Snickers and, the basics. And energy drinks, and I even made salon summer sausage sandwiches. I was ready to go.
Back when I had a roommate, I'd go on the road and they hook me up like that.
Yeah. So and I'm just thinking because I don't know what to expect, but I was like, well, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what food's going to be, and I really didn't want to be stopping because I know we're on a tight schedule. So I was like, So if in case we get hungry, and Anthony's, he's a big boy. He's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 300.
I bet that 360 was barely covering it.
Yeah. So I'm like, the boy likes to eat, so bring snacks. Well, it's funny because I opened the door and he's standing there and he's got a bag in one hand and a cooler in the other. And I'm like, what'd you bring? And he goes, I brought snacks. And I'm like,
covered.
Right on, dude. We are family. He brought energy drinks and he
knows what's up.
Yeah. He brought cookies and he brought chips and he brought wet ones. Thanks to his wife. And so anyways, we get in.
How great is that, just snacking in your truck?
And it's funny because when I actually let him drive for the first time, I started dishing out our sandwiches, and which he said it was amazing, by the way. And so I was eating chips, and I got a couple of chips on the seat.
Sure.
And he's driving, he looks at me and he starts yelling at me in my truck. He's scolding me.
About the chips on your...
About the chips in his... And I'm like, that's my role. And I would be that guy if I was sitting over there.
He's a Super Duty guy.
Yeah, so he gets it. Yeah. And so I had to laugh. It's just man, that's exactly what I'd be doing because I'm like that same guy too. Don't make a mess in my truck. And we had a great time. We went down to Oklahoma and we picked up that Merc, came back. So we hot-shotted, had a great time. And then, what was it, a week and a half later?
I think you got back.
2 weeks?
Yeah, you got back that same week, that Tuesday after you got back. One of my buddies sent me a text. He's like, hey, give me a call. And I was like, oh, geez. I also help him out with his farming operation. I was like, geez, did I mess up or something? I don't know. So I call him, and he needed two new mid-engine Corvette C8s driven down to Arizona from here. And I didn't even hesitate. And when I asked you, you didn't even hesitate. And I thought for sure you're just like, man, I've been on the road a lot. I got a lot of stuff to get done. I thought for sure I was getting that spiel. And you just looked at me. You're like, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. It clicked with you. As soon as what he asked me to do, it clicked with me.
Well, I think if somebody could have put a camera in my face, because I know you came to me and you said, hey, man, I know you're probably not going to want to hear this.
Right away, I was like, I got a deal for you.
Yeah.
And
then
you're like, oh,
yeah. First, because we just got done talking about that. I think I just got done saying, I hate driving. I mean, if I'll drive, but if I'm going somewhere, I'd rather fly, depending on the circumstances. And we just got done having that talk. And then you're like, dude, I got to tell you something. And I'm like, what? And you're like, I know you just got back. You've been on the road, but would you want to go driving? And I know I had that look on my face. You've got to be kidding me. I just got back. I don't feel like driving. But as soon as you said 2 mid-engine Stingrays to go down to Vegas, I don't even think you finished. And I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
No, really, I'm in. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, okay.
And then obviously, I was just I'm the type of I like to get things done right away. And so I was here booking plane tickets. I was like, oh, Travis is gonna kind of chirp me for booking plane tickets on his time. And you're just no, and you're all in.
I pulled the chair up and
help me pick out the plane tickets. I was like, all right, we're locked and loaded. We're in.
Let's do this.
So we
I was very excited when I heard about that. It's not every day you get that kind of an opportunity.
Yeah, and let me tell you, it was something I'll never forget.
No,
it was unreal.
No,
I've been telling this story a lot, and just me saying that means it's like it's completely etched. It's something I'll never forget. I don't know how else to put it.
It's yeah, I'd have to agree. I feel like, at how old I am and what I've accomplished in my life, I've met a lot of people. I've done some pretty fun stuff. I've been to, Top Fuel drags, which again, I feel like everybody should experience something like that. Just to see a Top Fuel dragster go by you at 300 some mile an hour, it's mind blowing. I mean, you can watch it on TV. Yeah, you can't take it in until you've actually stood there and your whole body reacts to it. It's unbelievable.
You can hear every single cylinder thump.
Yeah, and for something to go by you and actually physically take your breath away, it's a very awesome experience that everybody should to do. Ridden my bike across the states, and that's just the beginning of it. And the enjoyment of being able to do something like that, but to mule a couple and cannonball a couple fast cars that are built and designed for like this kind of a task was epic.
It was perfect.
Yes. I feel like everybody should experience and rent or buy whatever. I don't care, get a ride, but to take something like that and do something like that. It was the fastest 2 days in my life.
Yeah. I've actually been looking at vets lately.
I figured you would. Is that why they've been holding off on that? Is that why you went to the bank to be like, what's the trade-in value on this brand new sled that I haven't owned yet for a vet?
Yeah. It'd be the first time I've pulled some stuff like that.
Yeah. It's I'll never forget it. And I thank the guys that own the vets, we won't say their names, but for the opportunity of letting us do that.
Yeah, it's like
you can't explain in words what it was like.
And it's funny. So I handed him all the receipts after we got back, and I caught him at his shop, and he's like, I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'll do that for free next time. And he's like, yeah, I already got people that'll do it for free. And I was like, I figured that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we get to do it again, if we'll be getting paid on the deal.
Yeah. Well,
allegedly. But yeah, I don't know. So, but I think, honestly, I don't know if I do it again, I'd probably slow it down. For real. If we did it again, I'd probably not drive as fast.
Really? I think I'd still drive as fast, but I'd actually sleep longer at make it like when we're not in the cars, make it more relaxing. But when we're in the cars, still do it the same way.
Like allegedly, for everybody listening, I feel like we got away with one
or two. There's two. I think we both got away with.
Cars are fast, man.
It's unreal. Again, you can't describe what it was like. You can ride in that car and cruise up and down the road and kind of be like, oh, this thing is fun. But to drive the car, not just for 5 miles, but for 1,800 miles, to physically through the mountains, curves, flats.
Through the deserts.
Yes.
I thought driving through the desert was just as cool as ripping those mountain passes.
Yeah.
There's just something like, I just felt like a bad MF just running that thing through the desert.
Yeah.
110, 120, allegedly. I just felt like a bad dude.
Yeah. And nothing even more feeling like just a bad
mother effer.
Yeah, just when you got two matching vets rolling just right up front of a Starbucks and two dudes get out of it that don't look like they should belong in those
and
Stingrays.
Then pay in a gift card.
And then pay with a gift card that was all we down to. I think we had like 7 cents left on it. Yeah.
Dude, that's how dialed we are. You know? That's how it goes.
Yeah. It's like we couldn't. I know that the people inside of the Starbucks there where we stopped that morning, they were looking out like, what? Like, we both pull up exactly the same and matching vets or Stingrays and everything. And you could just tell, like, and especially it'd be different if we didn't know each other to be like, God, hi, ironic, like two vets would pull up, but we knew each other, and it's like, why? How do these two guys know each other and they're driving matching vets and they pull up, at the same time, and I'm sure we just probably looked really weird, but it was definitely
there you go.
Worth it.
Yeah.
So I do know that driving these Stingrays was a very an experience that I'll never forget. And I remember as we're coming, I think after we left Flagstaff is when things really got where it was fun, because coming into Arizona, and of course I was chasing you, and I was letting you lead. So just because this was your deal, so I'm like, I'll keep you up front. That way, if a cop too, like I'm probably better off being behind you than in front. So
sure,
yeah. So I remember coming. I think we're probably 50 miles out of Mesa there, and I'd look back and it was the coolest thing ever. It was just like a snake, and so I was following and chasing you, professionally driving through the traffic, I'm gonna say, and I looked behind me and there was a Mustang GT, an Audi, there was a Lexus, a Raptor truck, and then I think there was a black older C6, I think, that was behind.
I remember that C6.
Yeah, that black one. So it was all of us, and it was just like
he gave me the thumbs up.
Yeah. I remember looking in the rear view, in the side mirrors, and as we're driving, and it was the coolest image ever. That it just, like, you had this long snake, and it was just slithering through these cars coming down. It was the coolest thing ever, and I have to give it props. I know that I'm going to say we were never really under 3 digits. And that Raptor put up a good fight.
Dude,
I thought for
Raptor
sure
must have been supercharged or something.
Yeah,
that thing was.
Yeah, I thought for sure. I'm like,
dude, I had no problem doing 110.
Right, and my first thing, as soon as I passed him, boy, he like right up behind me, and I was thinking, like, okay, but once we start going through the curves, like, don't be dumb. Like, I get it. Like, you have a Raptor and it's cool. I respect that.
Yeah.
He hung.
He just wanted some fun.
Yeah, he hung for quite a while, and I was impressed. I was like, "Atta boy!"
I think
he pushed that thing.
I passed him first, and then he tried getting up to me, and then obviously he couldn't hang.
Yeah,
you passed him, and then I think he was able to hang with you.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just kidding.
But I know that Audi, I think that was the one that hung with us the longest, and he was right on my tail. But it was just a cool image just to look back and see that coming behind you. It was pretty neat.
It was a long trip regardless, but driving those cars the way we did was mentally and physically draining, because it's like we were in the 24 hours of Le Mans.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And the funny thing about it too is, when was the last time that you went almost 1,800 miles and never set the cruise? You're like, I'm the guy that just driving to Bismarck from here, I'll set the cruise because it's just like, God, but going there, I think once, maybe for 5 miles through, was it the Grand Junction? Maybe, I think, area that I maybe set the cruise for like 5 miles.
Yeah.
But other than that, I never set the cruise because it was pointless.
Yeah.
You didn't need it.
What's funny is, like, you could instantly tell when I took a phone call, because I slowed it right down to 80 miles an hour, and I just stayed like that. And then it's like, you could tell as soon as I got off the phone, it's like, downshift, gone.
Yeah.
Guy's off the phone. See you later.
Well, so I'm back to like an excited kid, just like, okay, what? Slingshot, engage. Like, when are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? So I just stayed right on your bumper, and I'd have to say, though, I know, like, that first night we got in the Phoenix and in the Mesa there, and I think we were in bed by probably like 8:30, 9 o'clock, maybe at the
tired.
Just mentally drained. Yeah. It's a toll when and it's not just the driving, but it's you're driving, but you're constantly looking for traffic. You're constantly looking on the sides. You're zoning everything,
shifting.
It was, but fun.
Yeah.
And I have to give it to those vets. when you look at them, you're probably thinking, if you've never ridden in one, they're going to be loud, they're going to be noisy, road noise. You're going to hear the motor. Yeah, they're going to be
car. Super
uncomfortable.
Refined. Transmission's great. I think they run a dual disc transmission. Cars perform.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they're a good bang for the buck.
Yep.
Like you get a lot of car for $100,000.
Yeah,
and in today's day and age, $100,000 is the new $50,000.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and you would have thought by driving those things for 1,800 miles that by the time you got out of the, you'd have been like, my butt hurts and all this stuff. And the sound system, everything about that car, there's no complaints other than you just can't really see with hoot. Like your peripheral on the sides looking back is like pretty much gone. Other than that part of it, if they could figure that out, that you could see a little bit better, that car is pretty legit. I have to admit.
It's like my bike. I don't run mirrors on my bike because I don't care who's behind me because they're behind me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've also seen your bike.
It looks good.
Yeah. If you're into that look.
What look?
All the scratches and
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, that's right. You laid it over because you ran through grass or something. Wasn't it on that bike?
My road glide?
Yeah. Didn't you lay, or was it your other bike you laid over?
I laid my street glide.
Oh, your street glide? Yeah. So, no, it was epic. I
but it was
totally enjoyed that.
It was funny because after we got the vets delivered and washed and serviced from the break-in run that we did. Yeah. And so the next day you keep a couple Harley Davidson, you keep your road glide and your street glide down there, and so does your Jason. And we got on them. We were riding on them, and I looked at you guys and I was just like so overfilled with like happiness and joy. I just looked at you guys. I was like, there's got to be a price to pay. When's it gonna hit me? So I'm still like, we were living too good, Mm-hmm. I mean, I know we bust our asses, and so we deserve some fun time like that. But it was like, I haven't lived that good in a while.
It is something to say that we got to cannonball a couple very nice cars down to Mesa, dude. Yeah,
and then hop on some custom Harleys,
and then call the Harley place and be like, pull my bikes out, yeah, and then jump on them and ride, and then drop them off, and okay, thanks a lot, and it is really cool, and it makes a guy feel good that you work your ass off and you can do nice things like that, but
I'm good. Like after that vacation, I'm good. Like I'm get back to work. Like, that was all I needed.
Yeah,
and I'd be hard pressed to say we were probably living better than Kid Rock for those couple days. I don't think Kid Rock was living that good.
Yeah, all I know is I enjoyed it very much, and so to kind of back up a little bit on
middle finger. The middle finger.
Well, no, okay. So on this Stingray venture. We stopped at, was it Gillette or Sheridan? No, where'd we stop?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne, yeah. So we stopped in Cheyenne, Wyoming the first night. That's as far as we got. It was getting dark out. We didn't want to drive these speed limit at night. So we decided to hang it up.
Well, you hit a squirrel, you'll die.
Yeah. And so we went to this, it was like a steak place kind of. Isn't that what they call it? Or
something Chop House, Ribbon Chop, Wyoming Chop House, Montana Chop House. They got them all over. They're good. I eat it in Sheridan too.
Yeah.
It was a banger meal.
Yeah, it was a very good meal. And so we roll up in the parking lot and we park the Stingrays off to the one side because we want to be the responsible delivery guys, or mules, I think they're called. And so that nobody will touch these cars because, we're here to do a job. So we park them way off to the one side and we bolt back them in. And
for the record, we were just delivering these vehicles and nothing else.
Yes.
We were the mules for the vehicles.
Yeah, nothing else.
For the record.
Yeah. And so we get out and we're like, him and I were both like taking all these like cool Snapchat pictures of them and all this stuff. And
Snapchat? No way.
No, well, I just took a picture. Yeah. Just to send to my mom. Nice. And, so, like, hey, Ma, look at me. I'm driving fast. And
I want to go fast.
So we go to the motel that night, we get up the next morning and Rob's like, dude, what's all over your car? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And on the driver's side, you look, and I'm looking, and there's like something like all on the like the bottom, probably 6 to 8 inches of the car. And I was thinking, what the heck is that? And I'm looking at it, and I grab my phone and I turn my flashlight on, and I'm like, dude, that's blood.
Yeah.
And Rob's like, what'd you hit? And I'm like, nothing. Trust me, I'm pretty sure that car at that speed, you would know if you hit something. And then I was like, but how's that? I mean, I followed you, so it's got to be over your car, nothing on your car.
There's nothing on.
Nothing.
Yeah. But
mine's got blood on the bottom of it. So when we get to the Chevrolet dealership to do the inspection on it, all of a sudden we check it in, we go back to the house, and Cheryl, the service writer, she texts you and then sent you a video. Well, once they put the vet up on the 4-post hoist, they took a video of it and they sent it to you, and they like, what did you hit with the whole bottom was literally caked in blood.
Yeah.
And not like some splatters. It was like literally caked on the bottom of this thing. And to this day, we don't know who or what.
Because there was no damage.
No. And she even said, too, like they inspected the hole underneath. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. And of course, again, if you were to hit something at those speeds and that low, you're not looking for underneath damage. You would be, the whole front end would be.
There's enough ground effects on that car that it would easily, because there's like 8 inches to spare on the front of the car.
So you would, not only would you be damaging the front, but it would be coming up over the front trunk or whatever they call it. And I mean, you would just do so much severe damage. So the only thing that I think we could come up with is that somebody just previously, right before us, must have hit a large animal, and there was just a pool of blood on the highway.
You went through the blood pool.
And I went through the blood pool, but it was like the video that she even sent him, like she got underneath and it was just like insane amount of blood. Well, then when we went to go pick up the vets, we asked her like, where's the self-service car wash so that we can wash all the evidence off the car, is what I said. And you're like, dude, I don't understand. He did just walked away. And
fine.
Yeah. And he seemed fine. And I looked over at the service lady and I was waiting for her to say something, but she wasn't even paying attention. But yeah, it was insane. Like the amount of blood that was underneath there. I've never seen that before in my life, but a snake?
Could have been a snake. That makes sense.
No. If you see the video of the blood, this was a large animal.
Snake makes sense though.
Yeah, no, this is not a snake. Not that much blood. No, this was like insane amount of blood. So, but yeah, it definitely was a trip that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Ever.
And like speaking of like feeling like, I don't know, I want to just say we were bad MFs. And so we were high on life. We were cruising up to Cave Creek up in Carefree, North Phoenix, and a little bit of a jaunt to get up there. And so I'm in the middle. I'm riding with two OGs. I'm the small fry in the group. So Jason was up front. Travis was pulling up the rear. We're on these custom Harleys. Yeah, you let me ride your Street Glide custom Big Wheel. That is...
Well, I had to. You had the guns.
For sure.
Yeah.
I started out the day with that. I was like, that's the only bike I'm riding.
Yeah.
It was awesome because for anybody that's listened to me or that knows me, I respect every single motorcycle, just from any sort of point of view and how they're built. Even stock, I can respect stock if it's a great bike, if it's a cool bike, I'm not going to diss it. And so, but I do have my own little preference on motorcycles, and I like bikes with big suspension, high horsepower. and bikes that perform. So Travis has a bike that you built, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, probably 5.
13 Street Glide, raked with a 26.
Yeah.
Custom paint job, stretched bags, side pipe. And he let me ride that bike, and let me tell you, it was awesome. Stereo kicks butt on it. It was an awesome experience. I loved it. But riding a bike like that kind of went to my head. So we were on our way to Carefree, and an aggressive Audi driver, most of them are aggressive, or Volkswagen, you know what I mean? So Travis was behind me. He saw this whole thing happen, and he laid on his horn, did a double lane switch, and cut me off. And we were in a turning lane off of like a freeway
off-ramp.
like frontage. Like it was like an exit that went into a frontage road. It was an exit off the freeway that went into a frontage road, right into an intersection.
Yeah, but with a right-hand turn right away.
Yeah, and it was big city. It was meant for a capacity of a lot of traffic. So
and we were in the turning lane to turn right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was just driving. I was just riding this Harley, and I think you still hear my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And next thing, I don't know. I'm not sure how I heard this horn, because your stereo is awesome, and you know me, I'll blow speakers if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. For sure. And I hear this horn, this dude just laying on the horn. Is like, what's going on? And this Audi is coming at me, switching lanes, and cuts me off. And I block up Travis's bike. I'm like, what the? Did this really just happen? So whatever. It's I'm not gonna let that ruin my day. So, but it kind of was just poking me in the side. I was like, God, I can't believe that guy just did that. He could have killed me or wrecked this bike or whatever.
And I was shocked because I seen it and I thought, man, I thought for sure, yeah, he was going to hit you. But then I thought, well, maybe it's an emergency. The way he shot over so fast, laid on the horn, almost hit you. And I thought, could this be an emergency deal?
Maybe takes off and just keeps gunning. But no, he just went right into
traffic. As soon as he turned, he was normal.
Hudson. Yeah, so I was like, what in the world? So I was like, okay. But I was like, I tell you what, if I get ahead of this guy, I'm going to give him what he deserves. So it just, God forbid it happened. I got in front of him, and I laid him the dirtiest middle finger I've ever laid anybody. Just a solid... that middle finger was 10 feet tall, right in his face. I made sure
it was about as big as your guns.
It was aggressive. And then and I just loved it. I was like, God, that felt great.
Yeah.
And so whatever, we pull up to a red. I was like, oh, this is going to get even more hairy. So we pull up to a red light, and he pulls up right next to us, and I'm on the other side. And so Jason, the guy that was in front of us, never saw any of this happen. He's unaware. So this dude rolls down his window. Is he starts just yelling, and I was like, you're a moron. You cut me off, whatever. And then obviously with his bikes were loud. I wasn't trying to yell at this idiot. And a poor driver. He probably wasn't an idiot, but he decided to drive poorly at that.
That was a bad decision for him.
And so Bauman, he doesn't care either. He's he just looks at him. He has no idea what's going on. He's like, shut the F up before I break your mirror off. And this dude just rolls his window.
Well, because it's funny. I'm sitting behind you two watching.
And Bauman's got these goggles on, and he just looks at us like, bro, shut up.
Yeah. Well, and Bauman is sitting there, just all proud peacock on his new CVO, and just as slow as ever, because this dude is yelling, and Bauman just slowly, with his goggles on, slowly looks over like, what are you yelling at? And then all of a sudden you say a couple things, and he turns over like, what the heck is going on here between the two? And then finally Bauman told him, he's like, shut the heck up and break your mirror. And so then the guy rolls up his window, and then I think
turns
he took
off
a red.
Instantly takes the next available right.
And I'm behind you guys, and I'm laughing, just shaking my head like, this is That's so typical. But he deserved it, though. He almost got, if you weren't paying attention, he definitely would have hit you, hands down.
Yeah.
Because even I puckered up a little bit. I thought, ooh, hope Rob sees this. And it was very uncalled for. And for the fact of him being mad at you for what he did was, totally
on
uncalled
top of it,
for.
like I was in the wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
Yeah. So it was definitely a trip to remember, that's for sure. And on top of it, we also, just to top it all off, but I'm a huge fan of Joe Coy, the comedian, which the dude is amazing. If you ever get a chance, like, listen to him or go see him. But when we got down there, Bauman had tickets for us to go see Joe Coy at where they play the NBA, where they
Phoenix Suns play.
Phoenix Suns play. And I'll tell you what, that guy played, he entertained for over 2 hours. And dude's amazing. The dude is a legend. He's so funny, and it was such a great comedian venue, everything. And so, like, you couldn't, for that,
I think that was like
5 days that we were gone, it was just like every day was just like epic story, epic story. Like it just.
So obviously, like, he's a great performer, but we caught it so perfectly. So every probably 1 to 2 years, these comedians, these top 30 comedians, they'll release a Netflix special. That's like, Netflix is like the new Comedy Central. And that's what they'll work on their best content, and that's what they'll do in this special. Well, come to find out, we got his best content. We got all the content he's been working on for the past 2 or 3 years, and he killed it. And he's about to do his Netflix special in, I believe, New York in a couple of weeks. And we basically were like he had it perfected. So basically we got to catch his entire Netflix special before it even came out, and he killed it. Like, I was like aware of Joe Coy because when I was in high school, he was popular. But I didn't really see, like, I kind of lost track of him. And so I was like, yeah, he should be good. But no, he was way more than good. He killed it.
Yeah,
the dude is funny.
Yeah, and he's just one of those naturally, like, he didn't try and to, like, be funny. Like, some comedians you watch, you're like,
nothing was like,
he's trying to say things that make you like, no.
Yeah,
it was just
he read the audience, and he put on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so that, like, to catch an epic show, and he had that. Jeez,
that place was packed, full.
Oh, what would you say, 20,000 people?
Oh, probably at least, because look how high that stadium went up, and it was everywhere you looked.
And he had that entire crowd rolling.
Yeah,
yeah.
And then I know at the end there, when he was trying to do some of the R&B songs, and he was talking about that one. I think it was. What's that one song I'm trying to think of, that everybody it's a Boys and Men song, I can't remember, but he's like, everybody's gonna get lucky to this song, and he started singing it. Well, then he made everybody turn their flashlight on their phone. Whole place just
lit up,
like insane. You look around and it was like, that was pretty crazy how, like, everybody got in on it and they were standing up. And yeah, Joe Coy he's awesome. He's a heck of a comedian. So everything about that trip was just, like, epic. It was, we got to drive some really cool cars. You got to ride Harley up in the like, for saying the mountains a little bit there, through the desert with a couple of your good buddies, and you got to go see Joe Coy. Like, it just,
and even just like I remember, like, it's so much fun being with you and Bauman, and just like the camaraderie. And like, I remember, like, that morning we got there, or I'm sorry, the morning after the night we got there, I was well rested. Like, let's go to the gym. Bauman was in his routine. I was like, so that was fun. Like, even just going to the gym down there, or like, or when we dropped the bets off, we were all riding back in the truck, and we're just having a good old time,
just laughing. Smashing each other.
Yeah, just laughing. It's like, it's like the little things. It's like, I haven't been on a vacation like that in a while. Like, it was just awesome.
Yeah, so. It was a very, and at the same time, even though it was like all that much fun, but it was still so laid back and relaxed. It was like a stress-free venture. So it was definitely a put down in the books as a memorable event. That's for sure, hands down.
Yeah, it was kick ass.
Yeah. So,
but back to reality. I suppose you should maybe talk about what's going on at the shop
for a couple minutes. I guess it was nice just to kind of visit about not shop stuff, but just what's cool and what we've kind of been doing, and well, we actually been working too. It's not just been all play, obviously, but
it's like we you got to take care of business first in order to play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just standard issue.
Yeah. We've got still a lot of projects going on. We're about ready to throw some paint on that Cutlass, finally. Thank God.
Yeah. To see a car in the paint booth that should have been crushed, car was truly resurrected.
Yeah. And it's kind of...
It's that car has started an entirely new life.
Yeah, and it's neat because even just seeing the car from... where it came into our shop, and then we peeled the layers back and found everything, and how rough and how, like you said, this car should have been crushed, but we, resurrected it. We brought it back to life, and just seeing it there for a few months in primer, it looked great. Like, I was excited just seeing it in primer, but now that there's paint starting to go on it, it's like gets you excited. It just looks so much better, and it's just like, oh, I can't wait to see this thing in full paint. It's going to look gorgeous. That Brandywine is going to be unreal.
So we sprayed some of that urethane Brandywine on some of the door jambs, and so it's just, obviously it's very well prepped, but it's not prepped to the extent of a exterior panel surface, and it's like urethane, so it's not even the true base coat, and it looks killer.
Oh, it does.
And so it's like, and that's just like, it's going to look probably 40% better because that's not even wet sanded, it's not even polished, not even buffed.
Right.
It's like, God dang, this paint's going to look insane.
I know, and Aaron's nailing it too. I mean, those jams look.
Yeah.
And when he laid out those jams, it looked like he has cut and buffed and polished them. No. I mean, they look so good.
Yeah.
And the fact, like, just seeing that little bit, and then you vision it on the outside of the car, it's just like, yeah, I can't wait to just see this thing in paint. So pretty excited about that. And but yeah, like everything else, I mean, the Scout's coming along.
Yeah, got that 37 Ford truck. We about got everything here to get us through mock-up and then start assembling it, and hopefully in the next couple months here that thing fire up. And got some pretty trick wheels on order for that thing. Set of Detroit Steels, so that'll be first time we've worked with a set of those wheels.
Yeah. So speaking, should we tell the story about the Detroit speed wheels?
Yeah.
So we ended up on our Stingray venture. We got to tell another story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We rolled through Moab, and so that was like kind of the route we decided to go down, and we come rolling up in Moab, and
right
you've
around
never
lunchtime.
And you've never been there, and I've been there once on one of our bike journeys. And you're like, is there, like, where should a guy eat? And I was just like, there's only one place that I know, because I've only stopped at that one time. So we pulled in, and we stopped at this, where we went to park the Stingrays to go into this restaurant. And this probably, what is it, late 70s? Was it early 80s?
It had stacked lights. So I think it was like 82 and newer.
Okay.
It had stacked lights.
It was a single cab, or single wheel.
Single wheel.
Crew cab long box.
1 ton with a topper, I think.
Now a steel
had a
service box in the back.
And he had a set of Detroit Steels on it. And so basically these wheels are like,
they were what, 20s? I think he said
they were 20s, and I think you had to wait too long for the 22s or something like that, or they're too expensive.
And this thing was white. It looked as plain as original.
It looked like a forest, like a government rig.
Yeah.
But just minty. It probably was, because the thing was mint. But yeah, it had so this, obviously he was a car guy. You just don't roll around in that kind of truck without, not knowing with what you're in,
So we finally get the Stingrays parked, and this dude comes rolling up. And of course, as car guys, what's the first thing we notice is
the wheels.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, those are the same wheels we'll be putting on this 37 Ford Ford truck, kind of period correct, but a little bit bigger diameter wheel, a little bit wider, kind of allows for an offset. So you get that vintage look, but you also get a little bit of hot rod style with it, which is what we're trying to achieve, with keeping the exterior of this 37 all original.
So this dude rolls up and he gets out of the truck, and right away you're like, hey, are those
Detroit Steels?
Yeah.
Detroit Steel wheel. And he's like, yeah. I was like, sweet. We're about to put some on a 37 Ford truck. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, you can't beat them. You really can't.
No. And I think,
sweet.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they look good on there. And I said, how many people have pointed out your wheels right away, knew what company they were with you come rolling up? And he goes, not many at all. Yeah. He's like, it's not very frequent. Does somebody know like what brand, company, wheels, and especially like on that truck? So he was pretty impressed. He kind of had that weird look like, how the heck did you guys know what wheels these were? Because it's such a
to me, they just
unique wheel. Yeah, they're very unique. But so that was kind of cool.
But to the average person, they'd look like a stock wheel.
Yeah, they would never. Your normal person would never know.
That.
Yeah, but so yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on at the shop. We're gonna be kind of getting ready. So we started something with Harley Davidson down the road, and of course, like everybody knows, I'm pretty good friends with Kyle over there, and we're actually planning a bowling competition. We're gonna compete against each other to. We're going to get a group together. We're going to come up with a name, and we're going to bowl 3 games, and then the highest out of the 3 will get the trophy. And then next year we're going to compete again. We might bowl. I told him, I said, we might do cornhole. We might do axe throwing. I don't know. Maybe we'll do whatever we come up with. We're just going to do this competition thing back and forth. So I know we've been getting ready for that bowling tournament coming up here, and I was just over there yesterday talking to Kyle about it, and he's all like giddy like a little kid. He's like, there's guys that are like jacked up and ready to do this bowling tournament thing. So we'll keep you informed when we get ready to do that. And if anybody's around and they want to stop down and cheer us on, or Harley or whatever, it doesn't matter. We'll have like some Facebook Live videos and stuff of us competing. So we got to come up with a name. And I told them
name?
Yeah, we got to come up with a team name, and then they have to come up with a team name, and so that we can have this whole legit thing. So it's pretty cool.
Team Customs and Team Rough Rider.
Now we got to come up with like something bowling related.
Going down Spencer, you're going down Ben, you're going down
DJ. He was the other one that was really
going down. Bill,
yeah,
going down.
Yeah.
See who else is there?
I said no sharks because I said I'm not bringing any, so they all have to be like legit people.
God, who's that other dude in?
I think Chris was the other one.
Yeah,
Chris was the other one.
Especially you, Chris.
Yeah,
you suck.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not actually.
So no, it'll be fun. So we'll keep announcing as we get closer on that whole ordeal. But I'm pretty excited about it. Just do something different, do something fun that I've never done before. But it gets us together, bring some people together, and just have a good old time about it. So stay tuned with that. But other than that, I don't think we have anything else.
No, just grinding going into winter. So getting stuff done and getting projects to keep them on the track and getting stuff done.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and drop a comment. If there's anything you want us to talk about, let us know, and leave comments about our show if there's anything you'd like to hear or comment on. Until then, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Unriveted Radio. Also available on demand with the SuperTalk 1270 mobile app. Download in the App Store or Google Play today. Unriveted Radio, presented by Dakota Customs, a full-service custom garage on the Strip in Mandan.